Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you've been well. This video, as you would have guessed by the thumbnail and the title and all that, is about get home bags. So get home bags are bags that are used to help you get home. I'll be talking about get home bags in this video, and I'll be talking about my get home bag specifically. Now I have a few of them, I have a few vehicles, and sometimes I'll grab this bag and throw it in a different vehicle. Some vehicles have their own get home bag. They just kind of stay in that vehicle all the time. This one is my main get home bag. This one is the one that is in the Tundra currently. And so yeah, I did a video a little while back on my daily driver, which is the Tundra. I asked if you guys wanted to see the video, a new updated video on a get home bag. You guys said yes, so that's this video. I thought it'd be prudent, or I thought it'd be a good video to kind of theory craft, talk about some philosophy around a get home bag, preparedness in general. So I'm gonna do that in this video. I'm gonna try and put chapters down below to kind of break it up so you can skip along to whatever you care about. If you're new to kind of preparedness or just kind of being ready for whatever life might throw at you, I'd suggest you just watch the whole video. If you just wanna see the bag, or if you just wanna see what's in the bag, click ahead to that timestamp and you can see that. I will put links down below, as I always do in my videos. Using those links does help support the channel, so I always appreciate you using them. Sweet. So get home bag, let's start with what is a get home bag. There's people kind of use terms weird or wrong, but this is not a bug out bag. This is not a 72-hour bag. This is a bag that in its very name is a bag that is gonna help get you home. So for me, I kind of gear it as getting home to me is essentially, well, my vehicle is either incapacitated or the road is blocked or there's some scenario where I'm not at home. I'm trying to get home and I can't just drive there. Now, driving there would be the best option, right? That's why I like to drive a truck. I've talked about the Prepared Daily Driver. I'll link it up in here, which one of these corners, and you can click on that video, and I talk about why it's good to have a prepared daily driver, both the capabilities of a vehicle and then what you keep in the vehicle as well, because ideally you just drive home. So that's why I like a truck, or at least an all-wheel drive car that can get you up and over through mediums, across, grass, fields, whatever, to get you home. That is ideal. You don't wanna walk home. But if you do need to walk home, then if you're a mile away from home, or 2 miles or 3 miles, then yeah, you just get out and you walk home, and it's very easy. If you have a longer trek, if you're going through a worse terrain, if it's worse weather or whatever, you might need some more gear. So this bag is kind of a bag that has some essentials that will kind of help for that. And for me personally, this is also a bag that I just grab when we go hiking. Ashley loves to hike, so I'll just grab this bag, and this is my hiking bag as well. There's a lot of crossover just between a get home bag and a hiking bag, kind of stuff you would like to keep in a hiking bag in case the hike takes longer, in case you get lost, whatever. So stuff like that in this bag. So what this bag isn't, is it isn't a bug out bag. Bugging out is kind of it's a term, or it's a theory that preppers love. And I loved it too. When I kind of first got into prepping or whatever, you get a bunch of gear and you get a bunch of bags and you get a bunch of stuff and you get more and more and more stuff. You need all the stuff to survive. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just as guilty of that. And I have tons of stuff. I'm like pretty much full-blown prepper, I guess. I probably shouldn't say that because I'll get on some list. But I have a bunch of stuff and I keep it at home because home is where I want to ride out the apocalypse. So I'm not trying to bug out. Bug out is a worst case scenario, and if I bugged out, it'd probably be in a truck to somewhere else in an undisclosed location that I'm not gonna share with you guys. So this bag isn't intended to bug out, like to escape. This is just intended to get me home. It's not really a 72-hour bag either, though, depending on you and where you live and where you are and how far you're gonna be, how far you could be stranded from home. That may very well look more like a bug out bag or a 72-hour bag or whatever. If you are regularly commuting 80 miles to work every day or something, then you might want to beef up your bag a little bit, or keep more stuff at the office that you can kind of beef up the bag with, if that makes sense. I pretty much work from home now. I'm I say this too much, but I'm building a house, which is kind of like what I am commuting to work is my house. It's not that far away. I don't have to go very far. So the furthest I'm typically ever gonna go in my day-to-day is a pretty easy hike back home. So again, don't have a ton of stuff in there. And so in the past, I've had some crazier get home bag setups with full body armor and, you know, pistol ARs, stuff like that. And nothing against that. This one's not gonna be like that. Though again, truck guns, I think, are not a bad idea at all. And I may or may not have them in some vehicles. So in your typical get home scenario, the scenario where you're gonna have to use your get home bag to get home, it's not gonna be chaos in the streets. It's not gonna be gunfights. It's not gonna be looters and mobs roaming around, just taking advantage of people. That would happen, you know, worst case scenario if something really bad did happen, EMP, something like that. That would take a couple days before things are just going crazy. So again, depending on how far your trek is home, if it's 20 miles, you're gonna get home in a day, most likely, depending on your level of fitness. I should mention that. Be fit. It's one of the best ways you can be prepared as well. So how I kind of view it is you're just getting home and it's just normal. Now, pending a natural disaster, something blizzard, tsunami, or earthquake, something like that. Well, earthquake, you don't really have a heads up, but other natural disasters, you kind of have a heads up. So if there's a natural disaster coming, just stay home. That's your best piece of preparedness advice. But if for some reason you have to go out and you're stuck out, then yeah, maybe getting home in a natural disaster would be a little bit more difficult. And again, depending on where you live, you may want to cater your kit to some specifics of your environment. So I kind of think of preparedness outside of the home, like preparedness in the home, your preps at home is a completely different topic, but outside of the home, I would say there's kind of three main things that I try to focus on for preparedness. One is EDC, the EDC you carry on your body. I do tons of EDC videos, just check them out on my channel if you want to learn more about that. But basically I carry a multi-tool, knife, flashlight, carry a gun on me all the time. So carry a handgun on me, so much so that I own and operate a holster company. That's how much I believe in carrying a gun. So if you ever need a holster, LLOD.us/holsters, I sell them. So EDC, most important, get your EDC dialed away. It's very easy to get that dialed away. It doesn't require a ton of resources or gear or anything like that. Second, the prepared daily driver. Again, made a video about that, talking about what's a good vehicle. If you have a vehicle, ways that you can put gear in that or proper tires or whatever on that vehicle to make it a little bit more prepared. So those are the kind of the two first most important things. And if your prepared daily driver fails you, then your get home bag is kind of the third tier, if you want to think about it that way. And another preparedness tip is just dress appropriately. This is, I talk about this in videos quite a bit. Like if I'm ever going anywhere outside of the home and say there's a chance of snow, I will wear boots. Say it's gonna be cold, I will wear a jacket. When I'm traveling, when I'm flying, I'll always wear shoes just because your shoes will be better than flip-flops basically. If you need to run, fight, kick, jump, whatever, I always wear shoes because I want to be prepared. Now around the house, you know, I'll wear Crocs or whatever. We're out camping, I'll wear Crocs or something else like that. But when I leave the house, I try to have a certain level of preparedness if you want to think about it like that, but it's just common sense. If you're gonna go out and it's gonna be snowy and you're just like, oh, I just need to go to the grocery store, so I'm gonna wear flip-flops. What happens if your car slides off the road or the weather forecast was wrong and it starts dumping snow, or your wife calls and you're at the grocery store and she's like, oh, my car broke down, I need you to come help me. You're in flip-flops when you're trying to go help her. So I always just dress appropriately. So that's kind of, I don't know where that falls in your EDC maybe, but I don't lean on necessarily my get home bag to have everything I could possibly ever need, because I usually kind of have that on me, or at least in the truck, if that makes sense. Another kind of no-duh thing to me, but I'm always surprised at people that don't have a good grasp of this, so maybe it's not as no-duh as I think it is, but that's just knowing location, knowing direction, knowing orientation, knowing where you are, say where your office is compared to where your home is, how to get from office to home without using Google Maps, for instance. So natural landmarks, say you live south of a really big water tower that you can see for a handful of miles around. It's a very easy way to say, okay, if I'm ever disoriented or lost or I need to find my way home, once I get close enough, I know that that water tower is there. In Colorado, in the Denver area, it's very easy to know your orientation because the mountains are west. Once you get into the mountains, like where I live, well, it doesn't help you as much because there's mountains all around, but knowing certain landmarks to get you where you need to go, but also knowing orientation, knowing which way the sun rises and sets, and knowing where the sun is in the different seasons. I try to kind of be aware of that, so I kind of know, okay, sun is, this high from the ground, that's, whatever, southwest or whatever it is that I'm looking at. So some basics, like very, very basic navigation skills, but also just being familiar with orientation and a map. There are so many times where I'm talking to someone and asking them where something is, and I'm like, oh, where is it? Like on the map. And they're like, oh, I have no idea. I could look at a map, and most people should be able to do this, and the common places they go, they should be able to point to it on a map without having to type in the address. So just kind of know major thoroughfares, major highways, major roads, things like that, just in order to navigate home, both in a vehicle, but also on foot as well. And then I touched on it a little bit earlier. A lot of people, most people, are driving into work. They're at work 5 days, maybe more than 5 days a week. Maybe they're in an office. Maybe they're at the same exact desk. If that's the case, your most likely scenario is you're either at home or you're at your office. So if you have an office, if that is your life and you have a small car, you don't want to keep a bunch of stuff in your car or whatever, have an extra drawer at the office, and that can have some extra supplies, some waters or some snacks or whatever. Typically you have those things at the office anyway. So that way, if you do hear whispers of something brewing, you have stuff that's at the office, kind of an extension of that get home bag to kind of get you a little further, or stuff that you just don't necessarily need to keep in your car. That's a good place to keep it. Granted, if you're not at the office and something goes wrong and you don't have it in your bag or in your car, you're out of luck. But extra stuff you can keep at the office. And that's what I did when I used to work in an office. I kind of had a dedicated extension of my get home supplies in case an EMP hit while I was in the office. So let's get into the bag. So again, I kind of geared this as a get home bag, but also functions. I use it, I've never used it. I've done a get home test where, I grabbed my get home bag and I walked however many miles down a normal path to get home just to see how it was walking on the side of the freeway and how things looked. I did that. It's good to do. I did it with one of my buddies. I should do it again now that I work in a different place and all that stuff. But it's a good kind of fun nerdy exercise to do at some point. Do a little ruck home with your get home bag and kind of get the lay of the land if you can. But I use this bag for hiking. And that's why it's built. So I want to keep it relatively lightweight. I just don't want to throw the whole kitchen sink in here to the point where you'll see every get home bug out survival video you'll ever watch is going to talk about the Silcock key. And that's important, but my day to day, I am never by an industrial building. I don't go into I hate going into the city. I don't go into the city. I don't even usually have one of these. Now, I have 3D printed a few of these. I have some of them in some other get home bags, but when I was kind of putting things into this one, I actually took it out because I was like, I'm never in the city, so I don't realistically need this. So before you call me out for not having it, that's why. If you are in an urban environment, I don't know why I'm dedicating so much time to this. This is a little key that will allow you to get access. Most industrial buildings don't have just a hose bib with a little knob on it that you can turn because people will abuse that. So usually you need to access them with a little Silcock key. So good to have if you're in an urban environment. But the bag. So backpacks. There's a kind of I guess it's kind of a funny story. So I've been into preparedness for a while, but there was one specific movie with Denzel Washington called The Book of Eli. I haven't watched that movie in probably a decade, but the movie Denzel is an apocalyptic movie. Denzel had a backpack and he had all his gear in his backpack and he was walking around end of the world style with his backpack. And something about that movie resonated with me. And I think that's when I really got into like wanting to build like dope 72-hour survival kits and bug out bags and all that stuff. So there's just something kind of inherently cool about backpack, a place to keep all of your gear. It's like, you know, how women like purses, I guess. Guys like backpacks and bags, and that is just a random story that I felt like saying. Actually, to the point where I bought the backpack. It was an Oakley backpack. I bought the backpack that was in the Book of Eli, his Oakley backpack. And actually, even I one-upped him. I got it in multicam. They had it in multicam at the time. But anyway, I've evolved a bit through the years. This is a Vertex bag. So we'll just show the bag now. So this is a Vertex Ready Pack. This is Vertex's, I believe it's their smallest regular standard backpack style strap backpack. They have some smaller slings. Now, if you're not too far from home and you have a pretty short walk home or whatever, and you want to make a get home bag that's a sling bag, sling bags are really cool. They're great for commuting. They're easy on and off. Nothing against sling bags, but I do like the double strap for carrying any amount of gear. So this is the Ready Pack. If you need a bigger bag, Vertex makes a lot of other great bags. The Gamut forever was my kind of EDC bag back when I was a developer and carrying a laptop and other electronics around with me all the time. But I've kind of downsized to where the Ready Pack is my main bag. I use not this bag specifically, but another Ready Pack that I have that's kind of my travel airport bag and stuff like that. So yeah, I went for the totally nondescript black. I do have this bag in a multicam black. They have a variety of colors, so you know, can kind of pick your poison. But I decided, you know, black is a nice, just blends in, nobody thinks anything of it, bag. So it has two pockets on the side. They're water bottle pockets, but I use them all the time for other stuff, storing snacks, other gear, whatever. I will keep water bottles usually in vehicles. Now, sometimes I park vehicles outside and it freezes. I don't like just seeing the bottom of my chin. So there, that's better. Just the bag. So black and water bottles. So I keep water bottles in my vehicles. I EDC an Nalgene water bottle all the time. I drink a lot of water. This is a little Keith titanium water bottle. If you're parking where it freezes, you're gonna not wanna fill your bottles all the way full, otherwise they'll burst. This has expanded due to freezing quite a few times, even though I don't keep it full. So I basically just pound in this because it bulges out. So water bottle, I usually keep in my vehicle. I don't necessarily keep it in the bag all the time, but I just wanna show you, obviously, water is one of the most important things for your walk home or for a hike. So having a bag that can hold water is pretty important. So we got dual water bottle pouches. Again, if you're at the office and you don't have a water bottle or whatever, probably there's, you know, single-use plastic water bottle, you know, just a little 16.9 ounce bottle. You just grab two of those, throw them in here. Kind of good to go for that. So let's start. I don't really know where it makes sense. It has a little pocket out here. Oh, real quick. So it has kind of a hidden concealed carry / armor panel pocket in the back. I don't have anything right now. Defender armor, Premier armor, they make nicely sized, very thin, pretty light armor panels that can slide into the back. So if you're in a setting, you know, if you live in Chicago or something where maybe gunshots are much more likely, these bags, the Vertex bags specifically, accommodate all kinds of great armor panel options. I'll link to some down below. I don't have anything back here. It is Velcro lined though, so if you want to carry a pistol or other weapons or whatever in the bag, they are kind of equipped for that. But again, I carry on body, so I don't typically have anything in that pocket. Now we have a little pocket up front. In this little pocket, I have a boo-boo kit. This is in a little Ziploc type bag. I just make these. I don't even buy these anywhere. I buy the individuals of the things. So I have some Band-Aids, I have some Steri strips, I have probably some butterflies in here, various wound care, ibuprofen, diphenhydramine, stuff like that. It's a very small kit. I buy bulk of all this stuff and then I just make kits. You know, I made like 20 of these kits at a time. They're in all kinds of bags. They're in every one of my vehicles. So that's a good option. If I remember, I'll leave it, all the stuff that I put in my kits is kind of, I've fine-tuned what I think I would actually use, what I come across needing more often than not, and I made a little bag. Maybe I'll make a dedicated video on what's in this bag. Let me know down below if you wanna see that. So, and then in here, I keep some, I'm trying to see if there's any sensitive information in here, but I keep just cashola, 100, maybe a couple hundred, like various bills, 20s, things like that. And then I keep an old concealed carry permit, like an expired one, just so I have kind of a last ditch effort form of identification if for some reason I need it. So I just keep those two things in this little outer pocket in there. It's a pretty small pocket, so you can't fit a bunch of big bulky stuff in there. In this pocket, I keep relatively empty. It has a lot of room. It's Velcro lined, so you can put other organizational items in here. But I keep various snackies in here. These are, you know, just some Costco fig bars. These are great on hikes. They're great for energy. They're great for morale. They're great for all this stuff. So I snack all the time, and I always snack when I hike. This is a little battery charger. This one is from UAG, Urban Armor Gear. This has a MagSafe. It does have USB-C as well, so you can charge other devices with a USB-C cable. But I like these because a phone is a very important tool. And you slap this on the back of the phone and it'll charge, and you just throw the phone back in your pocket or whatever. No wires to catch on anything. This one does have a built-in kickstand, though, you know, not necessarily relevant to a get home bag scenario, but your phone may die and it's good to keep it topped off or charge someone else's phone. Maybe we go on a hike and Ashley's phone's dead, but she wants to take a bunch of pictures. This is great for that. And then, yeah, this is a UAG case as well, OD green if you're into that. But I really like MagSafe. I use it all the time for lots of different stuff. And then I have a little Petzl Zipka. This is a headlamp that I've been using forever. It's one of the most compact headlamps that actually, you know, can strap around your head. I have several of these. I keep them in a lot of bags when kind of space and weight is limited. These are a great option. They're powered by either 3 AAAs or I have the rechargeable battery pack in here, but I do have some extra backup AAAs in the bag as well. So that's all I have in this front pocket. You'll see another theme in my bag is I like to keep room. I like to keep space for extra stuff. All right, so we got the 2 little pockets down here. There's the secret pocket in the back, and then there are 2 other main big full-length compartments. So we'll get into them right now. This pocket is where I kind of keep all of the gear, the front of the 2 pockets, and I'll just open it kind of all the way down here. So what I really like about Vertex bags, almost all their bags have this, and it's kind of a compartment that has MOLLE, like laser cut MOLLE Velcro webbing. So the MOLLE you can attach to all your Alice and MOLLE pouches and things like that, but I mostly use them as slots to just slide pieces of gear, or I use the Velcro aspect of the pouch. So you'll see that here. So on the left here, we have a couple carabiners. One carabiner has a little kind of multi-tool on it, a Phillips and a flathead there, but carabiners are great. They're lightweight. They have tons of uses. The primary use is just lashing extra gear. So say you have a jacket or whatever you want to hook it on. The back actually does have a few other lashing points that you can hook other stuff up to. So I just kind of keep those in bags all the time. If you watch my fixed blade knife video, you know I'm not really a huge fan of Mora knives, but they are cheap and they are pretty lightweight. So I have a Mora knife here with a belt clip sheath, just slid into the MOLLE webbing. Fixed blade knives are good for various things. This is a pair of trauma shears. This is also just slid into a loop, so it's kind of just secured in there. I like all this stuff because it's kind of multi-tiered, so I have all this stuff up here and then I have stuff down below that we'll get into. Here is a tourniquet. It's an orange tourniquet. Oftentimes they're used for training, but this is an actual good approved cat tourniquet that is orange. I like that it's orange because it's easy to see. I rip this bag open, that I'm gonna see it. It's not a black tourniquet that's blending in. And this is just Velcro. So cats have Velcro on them. So this Velcro just secures itself to the Velcro in the bag. So it's kind of a nice touch. I do have some Ziploc bags in here for various purposes. I do have pepper spray. This is kind of one of the bigger pepper sprays. So I can use this for animals, or I can use it for people. I can use it as a get home defensive thing. Again, I always carry a gun, but sometimes pepper spray is the answer. Not as big, and it doesn't have as much reach as a bear spray, but I don't live in bear country. So if I'm going hiking and there is a chance that I'm doing a bigger trip, or I'm going into an area that has more bears, I usually will just throw a dedicated bear spray in here as well. But this is kind of a slightly oversized human pepper spray that, again, great defensive tool. Not gonna do what a gun can do, but this is sometimes the answer. And then I have some paracord here, again, just kind of stuffed down into the webbing. Then down, this pocket goes full length. Down at the bottom, I do have a bivy. This is a 2-person emergency bivy. It's much better than like one of those survival space blankets, in my opinion. So it can be used as a shelter, body heat. You can kind of fashion this into a rain poncho or something like that. So multi-use, pretty small device. The 2-person is bigger, obviously, than the 1-person. So I like having a little more size for a little more uses. Then I also do have a little fire making kit. You'll see a theme where I just kind of make my own. This isn't one that you like buy, so it has two is one is none, 2 mini Bic lighters, waterproof matches, and some wet fire kindling. So fire making, good for signaling or warmth. Primarily, this is probably more on the hiking. I have it for the hiking in case we get lost or stranded or something like that. I have a roll of Gorilla Tape, the 1-inch thick Gorilla Tape. Million uses for Gorilla Tape. Oftentimes, actually, I don't know, maybe I don't have it in this bag. I usually do have some moleskin, but in a pinch, if you're getting a hot spot, duct tape will definitely help that as well. And then I have a little thing of lithium AAAs down here, just in a little baggie. I do have a compass. Compasses are always good. That's, again, I may use that more for hiking than getting home. And then I do have a little water filter. This is the little Sawyer, little filter inside of here. This is also can be used as another water bottle, obviously. I like this as opposed to a life straw or something, because if I find a water source, I can transfer water into another bottle I have, or I also have a water bladder in here that I'll show you in a second. And that's really it down below. So that's kind of makes up the survival kind of section of the backpack. And then we'll get into the main compartment, the main bigger compartment here. And what I like about how I have this bag set up is that the main compartment is actually pretty much empty. There's nothing at all in this main compartment. So when I go hiking, I'll usually bring other stuff, whether that's a windbreaker, an extra jacket, or extra pair, or whatever, whatever you take hiking. Maybe it's a longer hike and we're taking a lunch or whatever. So this bag isn't filled to the brim. I talk about that in other bag videos and stuff. I don't fill my bags all the way up, because there are times when you might want to add other stuff to the bag, and having room for it is clutch. In the kind of laptop sleeve here, I have a water bladder. This is almost always empty unless I know we're going on a longer hike, then I'll fill it up, obviously. But when it's just in my truck, it is empty. I have one of these organizational admin pouches up here, not a ton of stuff. I got a Sharpie. There's a bunch of room to slide other stuff and lash other stuff here. I have a pair of Mechanics fast fit gloves just held on by a carabiner up here. In this pouch, I have more snackies. I really like these. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, these Millennium Energy bars. They're just like solid, dense, 400 calories in this thing, 5-year shelf life, and I'm sure much longer than that, but an advertised 5-year shelf life. So this is kind of the bar of choice, and I like them. Like, maybe not everyone likes them. They're like a really dense, hard pound cake, kind of. So I keep those, some snacks in there. And then some, I believe these are biodegradable wipes. So go on the go. So you can use these, clean your hands, clean your face, clean your butt, whatever you need to, wipes. So that is basically all I have in here. And so a very practical, functional hiking / get home bag that I think you'll agree has lots of stuff that could come in handy, but nothing too crazy. So I think that's it. guys. If there's anything you think I missed, feel free to chime in down below, because I'm sure there's things I've missed. I always miss all the things. I'm only human. But I appreciate you watching it. Hopefully the video was helpful. Let me know if it was. Let me know if you want me to do some more topical videos, kind of like this. Love to talk and educate and inform. So hopefully I do an okay job of it. But my butt's starting to hurt from just sitting on this slider here. I decided to do, I don't know if it's, I just decided to do the video in the garage because it's a get home bag and I keep it in the truck, and I don't know, little change of pace. I thought it would be nice. Also, this flannel, more details on it, I think this week. I'm not sure exactly when I'll upload this video, but I'll try to upload it pretty quick, and then shortly thereafter, I have a flannel announcement. Very excited. Cool. Again, links down below. LLOD.us/coupons has all affiliate links and coupon codes and stuff like that. So I always appreciate you just going there before you buy stuff, because it supports what I do here on the channel, bringing you free entertainment, information, things like that. All right. Well, appreciate you watching. Until next time, guys. Take care.